floor for questions for Coach.
What unique challenges does Indiana present with their offense? I know you said they're one of the better offensive teams in the league.
Yeah, you look at their numbers, they're really good on both ends of the floor. And the thing that's been really impressive to me is how their numbers have gone up once they played league opponents. And they've got shooting all over the court. That's where it starts with Indiana, and Darren just runs unbelievable stuff to get those guys open. It starts in transition, as it does with every game, especially when you're on the road. You have to try and force them into the half court and then just be on point with your closeouts. They're really good. They run a lot of different screening type actions. They're really good in their split type game. So yeah, they put a lot of pressure on your defense, but it starts with getting back in transition.
With the what you've played in close games this season, you think about the last 4 minutes and finishing those out, just what have you seen as kind of the common threads among them?
I think the biggest thing is composure. Our guys have really done a good job of staying with it, and you get down a couple possessions. And one thing we've been very fortunate with is we've gotten off to good starts on the road. We built a 14-point lead at Illinois, at Ohio State, and then you have a cushion when a team does go on a run, which invariably will happen, and especially when you're playing in an opponent's gym. So, for us, when teams have gone on runs, like you look at that stretch we had, that 6, 7, 8 minute stretch where we really struggled to put the ball in the basket. There was no head hanging, and once we got moving again, I was really pleased. In the last 6 minutes, we had 3 3-point plays and hit a couple big threes. And again, a few of those were just making huge plays on 50-50 balls. And our guys they keep swinging, they keep going, even when things are looking a little bit dire out there on the floor. And to me, that's a sign of great leadership. When you have guys that can hold each other accountable, you hear the talking in the huddles. And, we've had years where it's been silent over there. If a coach isn't talking, nobody's talking. And this year, our players, I let them talk. There's times I've got something to say, and, Rink is talking, or Sam is talking, or Jamarcus is saying something, Kale. They've done such a good job of going out there and self-correcting sometimes, and understanding when they're making mistakes in the things that they need to do to get out of maybe a rut or out of a adverse situation. So to me, that's been the most impressive thing about this group, is how they've handled those tough, adverse situations.
Did you know they were going to have those qualities going in, or is that just something you have to see and find out?
I don't think you ever truly know, Wilson. You try to do as much in practice and put them in that type of environment, but you truly don't know until you're forced to react in a game situation and you're in between the lines. And that's where, from the first, I think Oklahoma, when you looked at that one, and even a couple of those early bye games that we played, we didn't play great in the first half, but we found a way out of it. You jump them at halftime, how are they going to respond? And film sessions, we had a heated film session yesterday just because of some of the mistakes that we made against Ohio State, some of the concerning things going into this one. We've done our best not to let this team get comfortable, and they have bought into that. They haven't sulked. Nothing has been taken personal in those film sessions, and we still have room to grow. There's no doubt in my mind we can still be a better basketball team.
The challenges that Indiana presents, they're one of the few teams in the league that can match you guys with age and yes, college basketball experience. Just what are the challenges having a team that can do that?
Yeah, they've, like I said, they've been really impressive, and it's hard to go on the road and win by whatever, almost 20 points like they did in their game last night. So this team's really clicking. The start that they got up to, the shot making that they had against early on in that Washington game, and it was both sides. I mean, it was back and forth, and then Indiana pulled away there and won by, I think, 10 was the final margin. And even when you look at their non-conference schedule, they had a pretty good lead at Kentucky before Kentucky went on a big run. So yes, it's a team that they've got a lot of firepower. And Wilkerson, to me, is one of the elite guards in all of college basketball. And he'll shoot it from 35 feet without any hesitation. He's got that kind of case range, and we have to make sure we're not surprised when he does pull, because he's certainly capable of making those. Wilkerson to me is again, he just does everything. He's got great hands. He's a good defender. Obviously DeVries is one of the more versatile front court players and can get it going. They put him in ball screens, and you just have to be on point. Communication is going to be huge in this game, but it's not just those two guys. They're a whole roster right now. And Wright is, he just does many little things and does a lot of dirty work out there on the court. So yeah, just got to be on point. Again, getting off to a good start is important in an early game. I know I talk about that a lot. to go out there and try to get the game going in your tempo early.
What's your history with injuries? Do you have any?
Well, we both grew up in Iowa, and anytime I see there's so much respect that I have for him, for his path. Obviously, Greg McDermott has been huge for him in what he does. He coaches a lot of this, runs a lot of the same actions. Their defense is very similar to what it is with Creighton, and you just look at what he did with every stop that he's been successful. So he's a friend, and again, anytime I see him on the road, we spend time together.
You brought up Wilkerson. He's had 4 straight 20-point games. They get him a lot of cutters and moving without the ball. It's slowing him down. Body on him.
Yeah. You just have to have constant awareness, and you can't lose him in transition. I think that's really where it starts. And he, the range that he shoots the ball, it's not NBA line. It's 4 or 5 feet behind the NBA line, and you just have to have great awareness anytime you're playing against a player like that. And they do a good job in their screening actions and trying to confuse you. But they run some misdirection stuff. Again, really good actions to get a shooter of his caliber going, and give him credit. He's doing his job by making them.
Good. Looking at yourself halfway through the season, your team is averaging 6 more points per game. You have 2 rebounds per game. You have 5 assists per game. You're about the same on steals and blocks. And you're shooting better from 2 and 3. I think those stats are something I didn't name that you're most proud of for this team.
Well, I'm not surprised about the blocks. I'll start with that as far as where this team is. But unselfishness, obviously, you get Rink back on the floor. It plays a huge part in that, improving our shooting. With Price, Braden, Frager, going out there and playing fearless every time that he's on the floor. Sam, you look at his assist to turnover. What is he? 58-10, I think, assist to turnover. Kale has really done a good job with what he's doing with his role. Obviously, Jamarcus coming back into a system that he's familiar with has played a role in those numbers that you just talked about. So, I think age, experience, and having a group of guys that have the skill set that fit in a system that we're running is the reason those numbers have improved.
What's been the biggest key defensively? Is it more length on that lower spot, maybe?
Yeah, I think length. I think discipline. I think this has been a very disciplined team as far as buying into everything that's being taught out there, and a lot of it obviously by Nate, and just. I think length is, and having guys that have been in it, it's not the easiest system to learn, but our guys have, that defense has carried us to a lot of wins this year, and we're I think have more activity with our hands this year. We talk about the steals being up. That is a credit to our guys for going out there and really trying to swarm the ball, because with the way that we play, you got to give up something. We're taking away the paint as well as any team in the country, and you got to fly around. Our rotations, I think, have been much better this year than they were a year ago, and some of that is experience. Rink is a very good pick-and-roll defender. He anchors this defense. Burke is a terrific defender. Jamarcus and Sam, I think, are very good defenders. Price is in a really good system for what he's doing. He's out there flying around, and the guy's coming off the bench. So, still have some mistakes out there, but for the most part, our guys have gone out there and played, I think, a discipline and followed the game plan. That's important.
How like the guys' legs doing? Sam mentioned after Monday that there were points he's feeling a little dashed just from.
Yeah, it was a good time to have an off day, and our guys, I talk a lot about this, is going out and you not only winning the days where you're on the court, but you got to win the recovery days, and our guys all came in for treatments. The guys that needed to get shots up got shots up, and then yesterday we didn't go what's the term? I can't say that, but anyway, we didn't go ultra hard yesterday, and then today we got after them. Today was the high day of the week. Tomorrow's going to be more mental. We're going to get shots up when we get to Assembly Hall tomorrow evening, because we won't have time for a shoot around with the early start. And so my point is, we'll go light in practice tomorrow and get shots up tomorrow evening, and roll it out there at noon. We haven't played an early game for a while, so our body clocks have been more play the 8, and then 6:30 in the game at Ohio State. So we got to find a way to bounce back. It's hard when you play a lot of late games, then you got to bounce back and play an early one. But listen, I believe in our guys, and they're going to go out there. We didn't get off to a great start in practice today, and as we said, if we do that on Saturday afternoon, it's going to get ugly. They are a very fast starting team with the way that they score the ball. So we got to come out of the gate ready to go, and we'll do everything we can to have our guys ready.
How do you prepare for a team that just shoots the threes as well and just with as much volume as they?
Yeah, again, it's urgency on closeouts. It's knowing who you're closing out to. They've got some guys that you want to maybe close a little bit short. Don't dare them, but not quite the shooters that some of those guys are. So again, the urgency that we have to have and the awareness of where their lasers are, that's important in a game like this.
How nice was it to see Juwan again, and any message for guys?
It's great. Juwan has meant so much to me and so much to our program, and if he wouldn't have gotten hurt a couple of years ago, I think that was a special team. He and Emmanuel, were two guys that were unbelievable in that group. But Juwan, just his motor, the way that he came into practice every day, the way he improved. You look at his 3-point numbers, how they went up over 10 percentage points since from when he got here. And I love the success that he's having over in Belgium right now, and I think that's going to lead to bigger and better jobs as he continues on his basketball journey. But it's always great to see him. He's always got a smile on his face. He's great energy. Guys love him, and it's good to have him around.
There's been some compare and contrast on this year's team and last year's team. Does this feel more like an extension of the two?
I think and a lot of that has to do, Amy, with Rink. You get Rink back on the floor, you see everything that he does and everything that we do to play through him. And, not only on the offensive end with him facilitating our sets, but also defensively what he's able to do. I would put that as important as anything that we've got going on the improvement of our defensive numbers. But, again, you just got a guy that everything revolves around him on both ends of the floor. And when you got a big that has to guard him, that just opens up so many things. And I think that's really, when you look at the efficiency inside the arc, we're shooting, 34% from three, which is okay. I think it will go back up as we move on, but we've been very efficient inside the arc, and a lot of that is because of Rink and the spacing that we have when you have a guy that can shoot it and provides gravity like Rink does.
In a game like this, we have so much volume on the perimeter. Do you make it a point of emphasis to continue to attack the paint? With how good you guys have been offensively inside the arc, and with the way Indiana that's maybe not a strength of theirs defensively?
Yeah, they do a great job of taking away the 3-point line. And again, when you look at that stretch that we had in Ohio State the other day, I thought we settled and didn't attack as well as we did early in the game and late in the game. So that has been a strength. But this team has always been take what the defense gives you. If we get open threes, we're going to take them. And if we have opportunity to attack, I thought we did a better job late in the game of attacking once we got the defense shifted side to side. We had too many possessions where the ball stayed on the same side of the ball, on the same side of the floor. And when you do that, you look at our numbers on the reversals, and times the ball shifts side to side, it's pretty glaring. And once we got it moving, I thought our attack was much better.
Green Bay really gets the free throw line. Just keep it stopping. You guys done a good job of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the main things of our defense is try to limit fouling and keep teams off the line where you give them free points. And again, this defense, it's designed to take away the paint and not to foul. And some days we're better at others. But Indiana does a great job. They do a good job getting to the free throw line. And again, a lot of that is due to the movement and the great sets that they run. Thank you.